everything we do online is attachment based. When you
Mm.
actually get to the crux of the modus operandi and the why we do what we do, there is so much neurobiology involved in using technology, being on technology, doing what we're doing. And unfortunately, that's the bit that has been missed, because what we tend to do
Mm.
at the moment is talk about the use of technology as though it is a tool, and we forget so often it is the medium. And that's
Yeah.
that's one of the phrases that I've used for a long time, is it's a tool and a medium. And
Mm.
when we're talking about screen time and the metrics that are being discussed in ways that reference addiction and things like that,
Mm.
that's not taking into account the why we do what we do. And
Yeah.
when you actually get down to the crux of it, it's about socializing, it's about connection,
Mm.
it's about engaging with your peers, and each and every part of the developmental trajectory of children is about that technology and how they interact with it, or how others interact with it in front of them. So
Mm.
everything has an impact on attachment. And the thing that I would certainly say is the vulnerabilities offline
Mhm.
result in far more vulnerabilities online.
Mm.
But when we're
Mm.
talking about children who are in environments where technology is present, and it's overly used at the detriment of the real world connection, we
Yeah.
are seeing a different kind of process emerging, and I call that
Mm.
attachment.
Mm. Very good. Yes. It's fascinating listening to you talk about it, and particularly the link that you draw to attachment. My mind was going to thinking about children's online behavior as you were describing it, as being a place where connection is achieved, a significant place where connection is achieved. And it's through
Hmm.
those each of those connections plays a role in what our children and young people's attachment style is. So you may well be familiar with my work. I draw a distinction between attachment relationship and attachment style. Children and young
Yeah.
people can have multiple attachment relationships, and they all differ based on their experiences of those
Hmm.
relationships. Their attachment style is something of an amalgamation of all of those experiences,
Yeah.
and it's very interesting. And the penny's dropping for me even as we speak, as that you have included real world and online um, relationships as contributing to a child's attachment style, which is very important in the way in which children and young people
Hmm.
and eventually adults approach life and relationships, and is like the rudder that steers them, the
Yeah.
ship, through life. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I went off to do my TEDx, because I found myself in that position with my own children. So one of the things I've looked at is early developmental needs when there's a three-parent family, the mum, the dad, the device. And I was really interested when I was doing my baby obs about what what sense do babies make of their world when perhaps the parent is only interested when the flashlight is on and the camera's on, and they're paying
Mm.
attention to this thing, and this thing gets pointed at them, and then their cadence and tone changes, and of course the prosody around connection is around, hi, let's take a picture, da 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 da. And then the parent goes back to looking in the phone. What do babies make of this new way of being in the world? And what happens when that distracted parenting becomes about what I call other children inside the device? Because babies can't recognize themselves. And when mum, dad, or other relatives are like, oh my goodness, look at your picture here, swipe, swipe, swipe.
Mm.
Is that another infant in the room? Is that a sibling? Is it a baby that could be a threat? What is really going on in those first 1001 days?
Mm.
And the reason I went off to do the TEDx is because I was sitting in my living room this is going back quite a few years because my children are adults now, nearly 30 in terms of
Mm,
their age. And I was sitting there with one of the first ever iPads, and I'm tapping away, thinking, "Look at me doing my extra hours," and I'm being a
mm,
very busy mum, and here I am tip tapping away. And my children were playing on their consoles and devices, and I realised nobody had spoken for an hour.
mm,
And I had this realization. I went, okay, everybody stop. We need to not do this, or we need to not do this as often as we currently are. And it was about, really having a conversation. Fast forward to, I don't know, probably about 5, 6 years ago, I was on the telephone, the good old fashioned, and I'm doing it here, like the good old fashioned finger and thumb telephone. And my eldest son sent me a piece of research. I opened my phone and started to read it because we were having a conversation, and he went deadly silent. And he said, "You're not
mm,
paying attention to me, are you?"
mm,
Whoa. And that was a moment where I thought, oh my goodness, even in
mm,
a telephone conversation, I'm not present because I'm reading the piece of research, which
mm,
means I can't do, multitasking. And as a result, I kind of dropped that into the middle of the talk about this real world connection. And what I'm beginning to see, well, not beginning, this has been happening for 15 years. Children who do not get their needs met, and I call it out here, go
mm.
looking for their needs in
Yeah,
there. And
yeah.
in there is whatever kind of technology they can find, or
Mm,
whatever app, device, game, etc., etc.
wow. Yeah. I think we all have a certain level of understanding that these devices intrude into our real life
Hmm.
and real time interactions. Um, I got goosebumps when you talked about what do babies make of this uh, three-way
Hmm.
interaction.